Welcome back. My name is Krysta French and this is my yoga channel. Today I'll be taking you through a 40-minute intermediate foundational flow. This is an Ashtanga inspired Vinyasa flow class full of lots of sun salutations and deeper postures to build strength and stretch out the body. So when you're ready, come join me on the mat. We'll get started at the top of our mats with the big toes touching, and you can bring the palms to press. Allow your shoulder blades to soften down the back. You can close your eyes here. Relax through your toes. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. And then when you're ready, inhale, arms reach high, palms press up overhead. As you exhale, we're folding forward. As you inhale, find a flat back and begin to lengthen. And then on your exhale, lower the hands, step it back, find plank pose. From here, keep the core strong as you shift forward, lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, press back, find downward facing dog. So it's our first down dog of the day. You can start to move around here, maybe bicycle the heels or pedal through the feet. And start to find your ujjayi breath. So constricting the back of the throat and breathing in and out of your nose so you can allow the breath to become audible. Start to press the shoulder blades away from the ears. Lengthen the spine a little bit more. Maybe lift the hips. The heels can drop. And then gaze comes forward. Take a step up to the front of your mat. Flat back, lengthen. Exhale, we're folding in half, Uttanasana. Inhale, arms reach high, palms press up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Take it down through the heart and down to the side. So keep moving here. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen to find your flat back and hands down. Step, or if you're ready, float back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, press the ground away. Exhale to find downward facing dog. So in your down dog, you can reset your posture here. Make sure that you're not putting weight in the wrist. So in order to take weight out of the wrist, put more weight in the fingers, the pads of the fingers, and the knuckles. See if you can really grip through the hands. And shoulders away from the ears. Let the head get nice and heavy. Gaze comes forward. Step, or if you're ready, float up. Find your flat back. Exhale, fold in half, Uttanasana. Inhale, arms reach high, palms press up overhead, and hands come down through the heart and down to the sides. Inhale, reach up again, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen, flat back, Ardha. Hands down, step or float back to chaturanga. Core stays strong. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the thighs. Exhale, press back. Let your heels drop deeper. And maybe you're starting to build some heat in the body, some warmth and the muscles. Stay connected to your ujjayi breath. So nice constriction through the back of the throat, breathing in and out of the nose, nice and slow. Let the breath become audible. Find your focus. Find your drishti. Full steady breathing. Gaze comes forward. Step or float up. Try to keep those hips high. Lengthen the spine, flat back. Exhale to fold in half. Inhale, arms reach up, palms press up overhead, and hands lower through the heart and all the way to the sides. Inhale, sweep it up, lengthen, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to lengthen, find a flat back, and hands down. Step or float back, core stays strong. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, upward facing. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So take note of where your drishti is, so your gaze point. Traditionally, the gaze is at the belly button, but often that's too intense on the neck. So if that's too intense for you, make sure the gaze is somewhere in between, maybe the knees or the feet, just somewhere along the midline of the body. So your gaze is not wandering around. Nice, full, steady breath here. So steady breath, calm mind. If your thoughts are wandering, just bring them back to the present moment, being here right now. Gaze comes forward, step or float up, lengthen, flat back. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, arms reach high, palms press up overhead, and hands lower through the heart and all the way down to the sides. Moving right into Surya Namaskar B, you can take a seat, find your chair pose, Utkatasana. Lengthen the arms, maybe the palms press, shoulder blades relax. Get heavy through your hips, and exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen the spine, flat back, and hands down. Step or float back, lower chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. From here, one step forward with that right foot, reach it all the way up, warrior one. So the back heel spinning to the floor, ground deeply through your feet. And then as you exhale, hands find the ground. Step back, lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. From here, left foot steps forward, one breath in, reach it all the way up, warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. And then as you exhale, hands find the ground, step back, lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. So nice full steady breath here. Checking back in with your down dog. Noticing if you can put more weight in your heels, maybe a little bit less weight in the wrist. And then gaze comes forward, step or float up, lengthen the spine, flat back. Exhale to fold over. Inhale, take your seat, find your chair, Utkatasana. And then stand all the way up, palms press. Hands come down through the heart and down to the sides. So standing nice and tall in Tadasana, maybe reestablishing the big toes touching. Inhale, take your seat, chair pose, Utkatasana. As you exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, Ardha. Hands down, step or float back to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. One breath in, takes that right foot forward. Warrior one, back heel down, arms lift. Palms are pressing. Hands find the ground, step back, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, upward facing. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. From here, left foot forward, warrior one. So building that heat in the body. Don't forget about your Ujjayi breath. Exhale, hands find the ground, step back, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. How's your breath here? So nice full inhales, nice full exhales. Just building that heat in the body. If you ever need a child's pose, make sure you take it. Please do not wait for me. At the bottom of your exhale, look forward, step or float up, flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, take a seat, find your chair, Utkatasana. Get heavy in your heels, stand all the way up, and hands come down through the heart and down to the sides. Inhale, take a seat again, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale to fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen the spine, flat back, and hands down, step or float back. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, noticing where your thoughts are. Right foot steps forward, reach it high, warrior one. Exhale, lower the hands, step back. So one movement, one breath. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time, left foot moves forward, warrior one. Reaching up, palms are pressing. Hands down, step back, Vinyasa is yours. So nice, full, steady breaths. Think of this more as a moving meditation. So you know where you're going already. Let your body move. Focus your attention on your breath. At the bottom of your exhale, gaze comes forward. Step or float up. Try to keep those hips high. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take your seat, chair pose, Utkatasana. Hands come all the way up and then down through the heart. And all the way down to the side. So Samastitihi. Standing at the top of the mat, big toes touching. Inhale, reach nice and high. Interlace all but your index finger and thumb. And then tip over to the right side. So a version of our half moon pose. Nice big stretch across the left side of the body. Come back through center, lengthen. And then exhale, tip open toward the left side. So big stretch all along the right side. Come back to center. Release the hands down to the low back. Inhale, lift your heart, roll your chest open, press the hips forward and tip the gaze back. Come back through center. Hands at the hips, float your feet inner hips width. Inhale, lift the heart and exhale to fold. So Padangustasana, grab hold of your big toes. Inhale here, start to lengthen the spine as you shift forward into the big toes. And as you exhale, we're folding. Soften your knees any amount that you need to. Right? We want to focus first on the shift forward into the balls of the feet, and then we begin to lengthen the legs. So that's going to get more into the hamstrings. Keep reaching the crown of the head down. Shoulders move down your back away from the ears. Full steady breath. And then inhale to lengthen. And then from here, flip your palms for Padahastasana. So hands slide all the way under your feet. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, we're folding. So we're shifting some of the weight forward into the wrists. So really into the balls of the feet, putting pressure on the wrists. So it's a nice counter stretch for all those chaturangas. Keep shifting forward as you lift the hips, softening the knees if you need to. And then inhale, lengthen, release, find a flat back. As you exhale, hands find the ground. And then we're going to walk back just a little bit to find crow pose. So perching those knees nice and high on the triceps, trying to get them as high as you can as you shift forward. Weight comes into the palms and we're lifting the feet off of the ground. Gaze is forward of the fingers. Find your balance and then step or float back. Take your vinyasa, meeting back, downward facing dog. Big breath in, maybe exhale, sigh it out. And then reconnect with that Ujjayi breath. Gaze comes forward. Step or float up. Try to find a little bit of hang time. And then exhale, we're folding. Inhale, arms reach all the way up, palms press. Hands lower down through the heart. Take a moment here just to close your eyes. Soften where you can. Full steady breath. And then step that right foot all the way toward the back of the mat. The right toes are going to angle all the way out and then press into your warrior two. So you're facing the back of the mat. The right knee is bent. Arms are open wide out onto a T. Gaze drops over the right fingers, pressing through the entire outer edge of that left foot. Soften the shoulders. And then from here, extended side angle pose. So you can drop the right forearm down, creating a long line from fingertip to heel on the left side. Or if you want to go deeper, you can always release the right hand down to the ground. Roll the heart open, maybe take a half or even a full bind. So if you're binding here, be sure that that left shoulder is pulling open, right? So we're not collapsing inward. We're rolling the ribs and the chest open toward the sky. From here, look down, release your hands, open your arms nice and wide, so on a T, and then walk the right fingertips behind the left heel just slightly as you straighten the right leg, working into triangle pose. So Utthita Trikonasana. If it's okay on your neck, you can look up. From here, cartwheel the arms all the way up and around. The left arm lifts, right hand finds the hip. We're stepping the left foot in just a little bit, working into our revolved triangle. So shortening that stance, left hand comes around the outside of the right foot. Roll the ribs open toward the right side and lift that right arm high. If it's okay on your neck and your balance, you can look up toward that top palm. If that's too challenging, you can always look down. This is a great place to use a block if you want it under your hand. Come all the way up, spiraling those hands around, and then hands meet behind the back. You can interlace the fingers, maybe take a hidden prayer. Inhale, lift your chest, and exhale, fold over. So pyramid pose, right? We're reaching the chin down toward the right shin, and the hips are working toward the short end of the mat. Inhale, come all the way up, release your hands. Both feet are going to turn to the side. Widen the stance just a little bit. Take the hands at the hips, lift your heart, and exhale, fold. So Prasarita Padottanasana, inhale to a flat back, and exhale, fold. As you fold here, you're welcome to stay folded, but if you have a headstand practice, feel free to take it. So the head is on the ground, and we're slowly lifting those legs all the way up. If you're in that headstand, engage your legs, point your toes. Shoulders are away from the ears. Make sure that you're not crunching the shoulders up. Equal weight in those hands. And then slowly split your legs. Come on down, finding the earth. Inhale to find a flat back, lengthen. Take the hands at the hips, lift all the way up. Open your chest. And then left toes turn to the front edge of the mat. We're working into Warrior Two on the left side. So pressing into that left knee, arms open wide, out onto a T. Gaze is over the left fingers. Make sure the outer edge of that right foot is really grounded. Steady breath here, calm mind. Lengthen through the sides of the body, full breaths. And then coming right into our extended side angle pose. So you have that option to lower the left forearm down, creating a long line from right fingertip down through the right heel. However, if you want a little bit more, you can take the left hand to the floor, maybe take a half or a full bind. So up to you. Roll your chest open, lifting through the heart, spreading open through the collarbones. Keep rotating. And then split your arms out onto a T. Left hand lowers, walk it back just enough as you straighten that left leg to find triangle pose. So gazing up toward the right palm if your neck is okay with it. Steady breath. Stay long in the body. Come all the way up. And then we're stepping that right foot in just enough to square the hips toward the front edge of the mat. Lift the right arm high, left hand's at the hip, twisting over toward the left side, revolved triangle pose. So that right hand can come on the outside of the left foot. If that's too intense, you can always place the hand on the inside of the foot. Either way, rotate the ribs open, lift that left arm high, lengthening through the spine. Full steady breath. Untwist, come all the way back up, hands meet behind you. And then flip your grip. So whatever thumb or hand you had on top on the other side, switch it, lift your heart, and fold over the left leg. So we're really getting into the left hamstrings here. Pressing firmly through that right heel. Inhale, come all the way back up. Turning both feet to the side edge of the mat. Hands come behind you. Interlace your fingers. You might widen the stance a little bit with your feet as you lift your heart. And then exhale, we're folding in half. So keeping those hands gripped together, we're moving them away from the lower back. And whether the hands are just coming off the back a few inches, or maybe they're working really close toward the ground, doesn't matter. Just feel the stretch. Come all the way up with control. Release your arms, shake them out. Left toes turn forward, step that right foot all the way up to the front of your mat. Inhale, arms lift, palms press. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale to a flat back. And hands plant, step or float back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. How's your breath here? So full inhales, full exhales. Reconnect with that ujjayi breath. Allow your breath to become audible. Gaze comes forward. Step or float up, maybe catch some hang time. And then exhale, we're folding in half. Inhale, arms reach high, palms press, hands lower through the heart. From here, we're going to work right into our balancing postures. So Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So take your left hand at your left hip, hug the right knee in, grab the right big toe and extend that foot forward. If you need, you can always keep the knee bent. So get nice and tall. Full breath in, and then as you exhale, fold over, give the knee a little kiss down toward the nose. Knee and nose come toward each other. Come all the way back up, and then open that leg toward the right side. That left arm can remain at your hip, or you can extend it off to the left side for some counterbalance. Can change the dristi, looking over the left hand if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more. And then bring that leg back to center. Keep the core strong. Fold once more. Everything's pulling up and in. Come back up. Keep that leg long. Take your hands at your hips. Point your toes. Lift the heart. Try to keep that leg lifted at hip height. Keep breathing. Really working the hip flexor. And then lower it down. Shake out the legs. Great job. So that's a pretty tough pose. Right hand comes to the hip, left knee bends. You can grab hold of the big toe or keep the shin in toward the belly. Extending that leg, get nice and long. And then we're folding over. Nose comes down to the knee. Give the knee a little kiss. Pull the belly up and in. Inhale, come all the way back up. And then slowly we're opening that leg with control toward the left side. You can always extend the right arm toward the right side for some counterbalance. Nice, steady breath. Come back to center. From here, nose comes down to the knee once more. Find your balance. It's pretty tough. Come back up. And then keep the leg long, hands at the hips, point your toes, lift the heart, lift the leg, steady breath, and then place the leg down, shake it out. Great job, let it go. Come back to the front of your mat. Inhale, take a seat, find your chair pose, Utkatasana, get heavy in your hips. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to your flat back, and hands plant, step or float back, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. How's your breath here? Shoulders away from the ears. And then shorten the stance just a little bit. So walk the feet in just a touch. Our gaze is going to come forward. And we're going to work on just a few little handstand hops. So trying to balance the hips over the shoulders, looking forward. Inhale, coming to the balls of the feet as you soften your knees, and then springing up. So just take a few rounds here. Try it out. If you can't stick it, that's okay. Right? We're just working on building that strength, building that muscle memory. So don't worry about the end pose. Just enjoy the process. Maybe you get a little hang time, maybe not. That's okay too. It's not about the pose. It doesn't have to be perfect. Eventually we're coming back into our downward facing dog. And then lowering the knees, sitting back, child's pose, Balasana. Allow your forehead to come down. Shoulders soften, palms can soften. You might even roll your forehead back and forth. Start to shift forward, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. So Adho Mukha Svanasana. Gaze comes forward, and then step or float the feet through, landing on the sits bones with the legs extended. Take the hands down next to your sits bones for Dandasana. Flex your feet, shoulders roll down the back, get long in the spine, draw the chin in just a little bit. See if you can press through the hands here. So the body's one long line through your heels, and then release it. Right leg stays long, left foot comes into the inner thigh. Jana Shirshasana, fold over the right leg. So if you can, take the bind, go ahead. You can wrap your index finger and thumb around the wrist of the opposite hand. See if you can really fold into it. Soften. Maybe the forehead lowers. And then slowly come back up. Extend that left leg. Switch sides. Left leg extends, right foot comes in. Fold over that left foot. And then if you can take the bind, go ahead and take it. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper. Steady breath. Stay connected to that ujjayi breath. And then slowly, slowly lift back up. So moving into Marichinasana, we're going to take that right foot, plant it down by the left inner thigh so the knee is straight up. So right hand reaches on the inside of the knee and then reaches all the way around the back. Left hand can take the bind. So we're folding over that left leg. So inhale, find a flat back, and exhale, fold over the extended left leg. So if that's a little confusing, you can look up, take a peek at the screen, keeping that left leg long. And then coming all the way back up, extend that leg, switch sides. So left foot plants down at the inner thigh of that right leg, and then reach with that left hand all the way around you. Grab hold if you can with your hands behind you. If not, you can use a strap or just keep the hands released from each other. And then inhale, find some length as we reach over that right leg, and exhale, we're folding. So see if you can keep moving that left shoulder open as you fold over. Inhale, come back up. Release the legs. Can give them another little shake. And then finding our way into bound angle, Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet come to touch. Rolling the feet open. Reach your heart forward. Fold in half. So trying to melt the heart toward the soles of the feet. And you can always use your elbows to press against the inner thighs for a little bit of leverage there. That'll help you to fold just a little bit deeper. Slowly lift back up. You can close your knees together. And then from here, we're coming right into Navasana, boat pose. So lifting the legs any amount, lift your heart, stretch your arms out in front of you, and your legs might be bent right at a 90-degree angle, or you might extend the legs all the way up. Either way, lift your chest, breathe here. Full, steady breath. Stay connected to that ujjayi breath, that ocean-sounding breath, really firing up the core. You got this. Keep holding, holding. How's the breath? And then from here, we're going to grab hold of the big toes, lift the heart, and then start to split the legs. So lift your heart even more, look up, legs are extended. We have that grip around the big toes. Keep breathing, keep the core strong. Release your hands from your feet. Slowly let your feet lower down to the ground. So feet are nice and wide, and we're going to scoot the hips forward as we walk ourselves over in front. And then maybe you come down onto your forearms. You might lower down onto your belly. You might use some props here underneath your hands. If you have the flexibility, you can lower your forehead down onto the backs of the hands. Just letting your body fold all the way into it. So Uttanavishta Konasana. And then we'll slowly lift back up. You can close your feet, give them a little bit of a shake, release any kind of tension. And then crossing your shins, walk the hands forward, step it back, lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Come back to your breath. And then begin to shift forward. Find your plank pose. Keep the core strong. Press the ground away. Have a little bit of a rounding through the upper back and shoulders. Keep pushing the ground away. Steady breath. Nice and controlled. Keep pushing. Press the floor away. You got this. Reach through the crown of your head. Reach through your heels with control. Lower all the way to the belly. Relaxing your legs. Release your hands down by your hips. Palms are going to flip up for locust pose. So roll your shoulders down the back. Zip the legs to touch. Lift the whole body. So the chest is reaching up. The hands and the feet are reaching toward the back. Steady breath. Breathe here. So full locust. And then slowly we lower back down. Can switch the hips a little bit side to side. Let it go. Find some heaviness in the body. And then take the chin or forehead back down to the ground. Grab hold of the backs of the feet or the tops of the feet. So bend your knees. Grab hold of those feet. Kick your feet into your hands for bow pulling pose. Lift your chest. And then if it feels good and you want more, try to lift the thighs off of the ground toward the sky. So the whole body is opening up. Steady breath. And then slowly we lower back down. Rest your forehead on the backs of the hands. You can bend the knees. Swish the feet. Lower the legs back down. Take a rest. And then walk the hands underneath the shoulders, a little bit back toward the ribs. And then press up again to find plank pose. Press all the way back, downward facing dog. Nice full steady breath. Gaze comes forward. And then step or float through, landing on our sits bones again. From here, we're going to lay down on our back. So we're not quite done our practice. So bend your knees. We're still working into those back bends. So finding bridge pose, feet are down, hips width. When you're ready, pick your hips up. Press the ground away. Lift the heart. Press your chest toward the chin, chin away from the chest. Ground through your feet. You can interlace your fingers or walk the shoulders under one at a time. Nice full steady breath. Keep grounding and then slowly lower back down. Windshield wiper the knees, left and right. Try to avoid the urge to pull the knees in. So another back bend. If you want to work into wheel pose, here we are. Hands up by the ears. Press the ground away. If you can maybe walk those hands in a little bit closer toward the feet. Keep pressing down, lifting through the heart. Maybe shifting just a little bit back and forth. And then slowly we lower back down. Windshield wiper your knees back and forth. So a lot of work happens in these back bends. Now we can begin to hug the knees in. We're going to rock forward and back. So massaging across the entire length of the spine, coming all the way from the sits bones up to the shoulder blades, and eventually rock up, cross your shins, lower the hands, and then we're coming down onto our knees, sitting back onto our heels, setting up for our headstand. So in our headstand, capping your elbows, interlacing the fingers, right? Finding that distance of that triangle with our base, and then lowering the head into the hands. Tuck your toes, walk your feet in toward your head, and then with control, we're coming up into that headstand. Nice and slow. Very controlled. Focus on the breath here. See if you can relax the shoulders away from the ears so they're not hugging up into the ears. Keep reaching that energy through the toes, pointing the toes. Steady breath. Nice and controlled. Ujjayi breath. Keep breathing with control. Keep the legs piked. Lower them down and find a child's pose. So whether you are in a headstand for a few seconds or that whole time, always find a child's pose. Allow your forehead to come down. Maybe it rolls a little bit back and forth. Just let yourself get heavy here. And then we'll slowly roll on up, coming to a seat at the back of our mats. Hips on the heels, hands resting on the thighs. Close your eyes. Steady breath. And then when you're ready, we're just going to send those legs all the way around. If you want to do a little jump through, you're welcome to, but we're just going to lower down onto our backs. Give the knees a nice big hug. Squeeze it out. And then pull the right knee into the chest. Extend the left leg long. So point your toes here, finding Apanasana, our wind relieving pose. And then take that right knee over the left side of the body for a spinal twist. Your gaze is going to drop over toward the right side. Try to get that right shoulder heavier by lifting the left shoulder up, kind of rotating the ribs open. Nice, full, steady breath. Notice that release in the spine. Bring the right knee back to center, give it a hug, and switch legs. So left leg comes up, right leg extends long, pointing the toes. And then take that knee across the body toward the right side. Full breath. Relax the spine, come back to center, give it another big hug, Apanasana. And then take the soles of the feet down to the floor, knees up, windshield wiper the knees left and right, release any kind of tension. And then come down to find Shavasana. So allow your shoulders to soften. Allow the legs to relax. The forehead is relaxing as well. Nice full breath in and full breath out. So our quote today comes from Rumi. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. So just allow yourself to settle deep into your Shavasana. So start to reconnect with your breath. You can begin to send some movement back into the fingers and the toes. Maybe rolling the wrists and the ankles. You can nod the head back and forth, open and close your jaw. Take a big stretch. Eventually roll off to your side, cradling your knees in towards the chest, resting for another moment. And then eventually come back up. So coming into a comfortable seat, taking a moment just to scan your body. Notice any shifts or any changes from when you first stepped onto your mat. Notice your breath, your mind. Just thank yourself for choosing to practice. And thank you all so much for sharing your own practice with me today. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in class today. If you enjoyed this yoga video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you'll never miss a free yoga class. It's a great way to support online yoga. For more resources, you can check out KrystaFrench.com. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you on the mat soon.